Hello everybody, my name is Jared and welcome to Jarred Gaming. Welcome to a game called Dagon. This is a H.P. Lovecraft inspired dramatic narrative experience. Don't know much more than that, so without further ado, let's just dive in because I love me some Lovecraft.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Oh. We got voice acting? Heck yeah. Ooh. Okay, so I can look around, but I can't actually move. That's interesting.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
No thanks.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
Are we Sherlock Holmes? Guys didn't know Sherlock Holmes was addicted to drugs as well. Most likely morphine and stuff like that.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Ooh. Oh, what is this? Oh, the full version will feature many interesting facts about, among others, the story on which the game is based, the historical setting, and the author H.P. Lovecraft. They are scattered around locations to make sure you look around and try to find them all. The demo will feature only a couple of facts, you just found the first one. How interesting! Morphine used during the Great War. Morphine entered into use in the 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War, 1861-1865, and World War I. It was also sold without restrictions until 1914. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe around 1854. Frederick Sergener, who first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium, after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams, not from the Matrix, although they are related. At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse known as soldier's disease already posed a big problem in the United States. Interesting. Oh, I like that historical information trivia stuff. Yes, give me more. Okay.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Interesting. This almost feels like a visual novel, but we can kind of look around these 3D environments, which is really cool.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation, so that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
How interesting. Ooh, an item. Lovecraft's attitude towards the war. Dagon was written around a month after the United States entered World War I. Lovecraft was actively interested in its course. He composed many poems in which he gave encouragement to soldiers and commented on the events unfolding in Europe. He tried to enlist in the army, but even though he passed the physical exam, his mother prevented him from going to the war. She has threatened to go to any lengths, legal or otherwise, if I do not reveal all the ills which unfit me for the army. I am Providence, the life and times of H.P. Lovecraft. Interesting. This is really cool. It's not just history of, the world, it's also history of the author, which I think is really important.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Whoa. Oh, okay. I could definitely see how this could be a VR experience.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Oh dear. We are about to meet Cthulhu.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Ooh, more history. Dagon and the Cthulhu Mythos. Dagon was written in July 1917 and first published in 1919. in The Vagrant, an amateur magazine focused on the supernatural. The story was partly inspired by Lovecraft's Dream and is the first of his stories that introduced the element from the Cthulhu Mythos, Dagon itself. A pagan cult worshipping Dagon later appears in The Shadow over Innsmouth, one of Lovecraft's most popular stories. Intriguing. Oh, the moon! We're going to the moon.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Oh my goodness, to be adrift at sea.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
Don't look at the sun, dude.
The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Oh, where have we washed ashore? Not good. Not good. Where? Look at these, When
at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see.
Monotonous undulations, I like that. I don't know why, but I do.
And in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
I want to be able to walk around.
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity.
Ooh, I really dig
There was
this.
nothing within hearing, and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Oh my. Hello. Hello there. The inspiration behind Dagon. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fishhead, a short novel by Irvin S. Cobb about an unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot and the strange fish of an isolated lake. Supernatural horror and literature, H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft's interest in the topic stemmed from his aversion to fish and sea smells. In his own words, "I have hated fish and feared the sea and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old. But I cannot recall what earlier experience gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood." The Dweller in Darkness, Lovecraft, 1927, Donald Wandre. Interesting. Boat, take me away from here. Ew. What's with the sounds?
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
Oh, you have a theory of this?
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
That's not a bad theory, I guess.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Ooh. The mystery of volcanic islands. Volcanic eruptions sometimes result in the creations of islands. Most of them are transient and erode after some time, but some prove permanent. The floating pumice porous rock created when superheated pressurized rock is ejected from a volcano can move across long distances and transport particles and macroalgae that cling to it. In 2001, rafts of pumice created during the eruption of a volcano near Tonga, Polynesia, eventually reached Australia. Interesting. How fascinating, fish. Tell me your secrets.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
I don't think that's gonna happen, dude.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Well, maybe we shouldn't have made our bed, like, right next to this squid thing. Ooh, actual movement. Uh-oh, I know that sound. Interesting. That was really freaking cool, though. I really dig that. Some actual, like, Lovecraftian material. Well, there you have it, guys. That is Dagon. Very interesting, very much a visual novel style type game with mostly just sort of narrative interaction, but still very, very fascinating. Definitely want to check this out when it comes out in full, just because I love Lovecraftian stuff, and this just looks really interesting. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and please leave a comment. Let me know what your favorite Lovecraftian story is. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. And as always, thank you so very much for watching. You've been awesome. Let's play again soon, and I'll see you in the next video.